Morning Show, 15 before the top of the hour, y'all. Y'all, welcome to the show, the one and only Jeff Johnson with 3 things you need to know. Good morning, Jeff.
What up? What's going on, man?
Man, blessed this morning. I know you got a lot because you got John Lewis, you got Donald Trump. Talking about he ain't going to build no more apartment complex in the everything. Everything.
Let me start with some good news, man. So,
okay.
For those of you that haven't heard, you know that there's an election coming up in November, and we've been talking a whole lot about the president and who's going to get that. And at some point, I got to read something, Rick, before I come in with this. Biden released this week a report around how he wants to modify the Federal Reserve to reinvest and reduce the wealth gap. And I'll be very honest, I haven't read the whole thing yet, but it really blew my mind because I don't remember the last time I heard anybody talking about modifying the Federal Reserve in a way that reduced the wealth gap and dealt with racial equity. And so I'm excited about it, but I got to read it first. But that was something that was really interesting to me this week. But what I am excited about is there's a sister by the name of Keita Haynes. And she's a system impacted person with me. She's been previously incarcerated. She's running for Tennessee's 5th congressional district seat. And she has been obviously an offender who has come out. But I'm excited about this, man. When you think about the fact that a system impacted sister is running for Congress, that really begins to change the narrative yet again of who can serve in these seats, who we should be thinking about running for office, and who we should be electing. And Rick, she's just one of 22 black and multiracial women who have filed to run for Congress. And so wow. I'm excited when sometimes we're not excited about what's happening always in all parts of that ballot. This is something I think that we really can be excited about as we think about not going to the polls, because we probably are going to be voting by mail. The second thing is, I mean, we do have to talk about, so sometimes I wonder, why do we talk about this idiot? But when you really do tweet out, I'm happy to inform all the people living their suburban lifestyle dream that you'll no longer be bothered or financially hurt by having low income housing built in your neighborhood. I mean, it just, there's no, every time I think you can't go any lower than Trump goes, he finds a way to go lower. And I think what many people are missing is that we got to start, I think we got to start talking about some things differently, Rick. So I had a conversation with somebody yesterday that was like, you know, I'm afraid of like Biden talking about racial equity or somebody else talking about racial equity, because who's going to get angry? And I'm like, the only people that are getting angry are the people that are buying into this piece that racial equity in some ways means something is being taken away from them. That's the biggest problem. Racial equity is proven to increase growth broadly. So that when you take communities where people have perpetually had nothing and you create opportunity for them, that doesn't take money away from somebody else. It actually ensures that the broader economy of that location is more robust. And as a result, that broader economy increases. The Kellogg Foundation did a report that said if we address with just pay equity, Rick, from a racial perspective, that you would see an increase in almost $5 trillion into the economy. I mean, that's real money. And so, y'all, listen, don't let anybody convince you that because racial equity is the right thing to do, that it means that in some way, shape, or form, it's taking from one to give to another. No, what it's about is how do you ensure that new influxes of resources and opportunity ultimately create a better life for everybody. And so, Rick, before I get out of here, I'm sad, but I'm also celebratory, man, about this final homegoing for John Lewis. President Obama is going to be providing the eulogy. I know that both Bill Clinton and George Bush will be there. And I think because of his age and his health, President Carter sent condolences, but is not going to be able to be there. And of course, President Trump will not be there because his level of inhumanity and lack of respect just continues to to show clear. I don't understand how you can be a president and not at some point pay respects to somebody that had done as much for this country as John Lewis had. And so, not to end on that, there's something interesting, Rick, when we think about this notion of passing. I am so celebratory in this moment that I got to live during the time that John Lewis was alive.
Right.
I am happy that I got the chance to meet him, that I got a chance to shake his hand. I am blessed that I got a chance to sit at his feet and learn not only what he did in the 60s, but what he did in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and 2000s and last year. And just to be able to watch what a true servant looks like. Somebody that had the ability to show up with a great level of arrogance as a result of the things that he actually had done, always showed up with a level of humility. And somebody that always had somewhere to be, always had time to stop and talk to people. And so there's just so much that we have to learn from the life of John Lewis. But as we celebrate him today in this final homegoing, Rick, I hope that we recognize that the biggest way for us to honor him is to emulate aspects of his humility, of his service, of his sacrifice, of his gangster, of his relentlessness to justice, and of his never dying commitment to the humanity of others, no matter who you were, where you were, what you looked like, how much you had, how much you didn't have. And so thank you, John Lewis, for every single thing you gave. There's something that's said in African tradition, Rick, that the ancestors never die as long as you continue to speak their name. And we'll continue to speak the name of John Lewis because his life meant so much to us. So I just say salute at this time, Rick.
Shout out to all the Masonry brothers and all the members of Phi Beta Sigma and John Lewis's family and everybody that worked for Congressman John Lewis. We offer our condolences to everybody, and God bless y'all. And we're going to celebrate the life and legacy of John Lewis today. Jeff, thank you for that, man.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, y'all. More Rickey Smiley Morning Show coming up.